All right, and welcome to our next episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers. Very weird entrance this week. This is May 4th, Tuesday. This is the very first Tuesday, Flight and a Pint Tuesdays. We had a little discussion as a podcast, a little meeting of the minds, will you? And we had started saying that, wow, our episodes are really getting long. So we said, why don't we divide them up? A lot of people like the banter. A lot of people like the drafts. Some people tell me the banter's good, and then I just stop, and then I just don't listen to the draft. Well, we want you to listen to both. So we're going to give you both in 1 week in 2 episodes. Tuesdays will be a Flight and a Pint, followed by Thursdays to lead you into the weekend with our banter, our beer reviews. So today is the very first episode of Flight and a Pint Tuesdays. Jordan, you suck at drafts.
I don't know. Okay. There have been allegations, not from me. Credit to me, not from me, of ballot stuffing. But credit to me, I'm
pretty sure
I'm not bringing that up. I think that's in the past. So it's either people recognize my drafts and don't want to vote for me, which is fine. I get it. My personality's a little grating, or I'm really shitty at drafting. Now, it's likely a combination of both, but I have taken a step back. I've come to self-assess and realize I need to make some changes. So I am actually very well prepared this week. As you can see, I've written stuff down. I've scratched it out. I have thought about this one a lot. So I'm hoping to turn over a new leaf in the draft pantheon as of this time.
All right. So being as this is a very special episode, our very first Flight and a Pint Tuesday, last week, the draft results very interesting. So Jordan had 2 votes, one being him. He was a very clear last place. I was comfortably in the middle, a better showing than I've done in the last couple of weeks. So I was comfortably in third.
We're saying the number of votes now. We're not just saying fourth, third, second, first.
No. When there's just 2 votes, when there's 2 votes, that's Jordan. Come on.
If you think I'm not going to remember what just happened here, you're sorely mistaken. So, Pat, you can wait.
Technically, Jordan, you finished in third.
No.
Oh,
right. Because I came in second because Matt and James, who have taken it upon themselves to be the best drafters in the podcast for some reason. I won't bring up why I think that, but Matt, I think, is a truly good drafter. James...
Hold on. So this week I'm a truly good drafter.
They're both, Pat. They're both sus. They're both sus. Matt gets everyone around him to vote for him, and then James' girlfriend has 45 Instagram accounts that she votes for.
Popular
she supports her man. I will say that. She supports her man. Yeah. So what happened was Matt and James actually tied this week. Right down the middle, same amount of votes. So for this week, Matt and James, I would like you to converse and decide this week's order for this week's draft.
Oh, well, I was thinking this might happen.
Hold on. Pat, are we explaining what the draft is first? Or
we'll do the order, and then I'll get to the...
Sorry, folks. As I said, new format. We're working through the kinks. It's all good.
Since I thought this might happen, Matt, since we are clearly the better drafters week over week, do you want to just push what happened last week, keep the same order as last week?
No, because I didn't like where I drafted last week.
Okay,
James,
fair enough.
James, what is your favorite position in drafting?
And
don't say missionary because that's mine.
But my brain went right there.
That's boring. But no, 4 worked well. But I mean, honestly, I could go wherever, and I think
just
I will.
Pick one of 4.
So
you want 4?
Pick. What do you want,
James, you want 4?
I'll take 4. You can.
Okay, James will be 4.
Is that so hard?
I would like to draft third.
Can I pick for the number of votes I got?
I think we should punish Jordan and make him go first again.
Unless, okay, then make me go first. Then make me go first again.
Yeah.
No, I want Pat to go first.
Shit.
All right, so I'm going second.
Yes, you are.
All right.
I'll throw you a bone because you're real bad.
No, I'm going to be fine. I just have to put some effort in, okay? Clearly not preparing at all was coming back to bite me in the ass.
All right, so Jordan, I will now throw it to you. Please let our audience know what this week's subject is for a flight and a pint.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a truly wonderous, truly magical flight in a pint because we're gonna go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay. The year is vaguely 2004, possibly through 2000 or 1999 if you're super old. How old's Matt?
Way
Matt's like pretty old.
2004, I was 17.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
buying
but
beer
I
at
was
the
13
LC.
in 2004. So I'm saying 2004 through 1999. How old were you in 1999, Matt?
I was 12.
Okay. Thank you for letting me finish my thought. Anyways, in that 5-year gap, you're going to be drafting things from your childhood. In this draft, you must have one toy from the age of 13 or under. One toy, one crush, one candy, one TV show, and one band. All right? 5 picks, one of each. And in doing this, may the inner child be freed in all of you. Pat, back to you.
All right, so I guess I'm the first pick. This is the position I did not want to be in. There is a pick that I truly believe needs to be made, but I think I can get it later, so I'll leave it be. So my first pick in a flight and a pint of childhood memories.
Childhood things, I thought it was.
Oh, you're already cutting them off? Are you already
Wow.
cutting them off?
I'm going to take a crush, a childhood crush,
That's bold. First
and
overall.
I am going to take from Saved by the Bell,
No.
Kelly Kapowski.
Okay. Well,
So, are we saying her real name, or are you going
No,
by Kelly?
no.
I don't
Kelly
know what her
Kapowski.
real name is.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen. God.
Yeah, let's
Still a
just say,
smoke.
how
Still
is
a
Kelly
smoke.
Kapowski the easier name?
I don't even know how to spell that.
She, you know what? She was in Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell is honestly a horrible show. If you watch it back now, it doesn't hold up. I don't think it ever held up. It was not a good show, James. Don't give me that look.
Fucking Emmy award-winning Golden Globe show.
It's not good. Zach Morris, a great all-time character. It gave us a lot of things, but the best thing it gave us was Kelly Kapowski. And I think that needs to go first overall. I don't think I can get her later. I think people will select her within the next few picks. I think Jordan would jump on her. I think James would jump on that pick.
I
So
would say I don't
think
think you could get her ever, but whatever.
Oh,
Oh my god!
that was such an easy shot. James, thank you
Assault.
for taking the tap in. Assault.
So Kelly Kapowski, absolute smoke, still is. But back in the day, when you're younger, that was like many people's first crush as a kid growing up. You'd watch it for Kelly Kapowski. So I think that's a slam dunk first pick. I'm going to take Kelly Kapowski as my first pick. Moving on to Jordan for his second pick.
Okay, so this is new Jordan is now looking at depth. I've written stuff down. I'm trying to think like, what can I take that makes sense in this spot? Even though there are other picks that I like more, I think there's one penultimate band that everyone can agree dominated the late 90s and early 2000s. And I am going to take the Backstreet Boys with my
Damn it.
band. I know there's other big hitters.
No, that. Jordan?
But for me, I
Holy
think
shit.
that's like the band. I still absolutely listen to their songs. We've Got It Going On is just a classic. The Call. First time I realized that if you're cheating, if you're being a scumbag, that's what The Call is really. That's what's happening. We can go through. I mean, Shape of My Heart. I
Great
could do.
song.
And I'm just going to finish with this, James. There's one song that comes on at every social where if Matt and Pat have the Boot Scoot Boogie, I have Backstreet's Back. That is the Jordan dance song. So I'm going to take the Backstreet Boys as my first overall pick.
At a great Winnipeg event, a social.
Yes, great. Yes, and I also have, by the way, my favorite list of honorable mentions is the band category. So I'm excited to get to the end and talk about those.
I don't know. Like, I will just say that I always mix up Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. To me, they're the same band. I love that. I love them both, so it doesn't really matter to me. I don't
You are a stupid idiot.
I could be. I didn't say I
No,
didn't
no,
like
no.
either one.
You are, because that is an asinine thing to say.
Okay, sorry. Well, I know one has Justin Timberlake. I know one has Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah, we get it, Pat. You played sports. Yeah, you didn't have time for boy bands. You were so cool. You're so cool, bro.
Okay, just real quick on Jordan's pick. So I'm a bit a bit older than Jordan. Jordan's a bit younger than I am.
What's our difference? 5 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, think about that, right?
You're a 90.
I'm a 91. You're an 86.
No, I'm an 87.
Okay, so 4 years.
So 4 years. When I was like in grade 6, it was super uncool to like Backstreet Boys, but every grade 6 boy liked Backstreet Boys. Like that song came on in the car when you were with your like parents, and you're like, yes, this is a banger. But if your buddies were like, oh, Backstreet Boys, you're like, this, no, Backstreet Boys, no, nobody likes Backstreet Boys. But like, yeah, great pick, Jordan. Like,
thank you, man.
Backstreet
I'm
Boys,
off
let's
to a
go.
good start in Jordan drafting 2.0. So over to James, I believe, or Matt?
No,
Matt,
over to
Matt
me.
has the next.
Over to me. There's certain categories that I feel like are deeper. I feel like TV shows are a little bit deeper. I feel like candy's a little bit deeper because it can kind of go all over the place. Toys, there's a first rounder here that I think if you're picking toys as a kid, this is the quintessential toy, and nobody knows why it was a good toy, but it was a good toy. And everybody had them, and everybody liked them, and everybody wanted to collect them. I got to pick Pogs.
Wow, great pick. Whew, okay.
They're just you want to talk about childhood? Everybody had Pogs. Nobody really know why they had Pogs. Nobody really knew how to play Pogs, but you played Pogs, and you kind of stole Pogs from people because you flipped them over apparently. And this one guy had a super thick metal slammer, and he'd slam it down. That really doesn't sound good now that it's coming out of my mouth. But I still have a tube of Pogs at my parents that my dad's like, I'm gonna hang on to these because I think eventually they're gonna be worth money. And I'm like, dude, they're not gonna be. They're a little piece of cardboard. But they were so cool, and got banned from every school, every elementary school in the late '90s. And I loved Pogs.
Does anyone else think that's
Matt, can I be totally honest
that's
with
not
you?
a first round pick?
Can I be totally honest with you, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
I liked Pogs, but picking that in the first round stinks.
Yeah, not on my board.
Well,
Okay.
honestly, it was the number one on my toy board. So
Okay. All right.
Just ruined Matt's childhood. Way to go.
All right. Well, so I didn't say they were bad, but I think you could have got them in the 5th round. Honest to God. I didn't even have them on the list.
I have a feeling most of the stuff I'm gonna
Yeah.
pick I could have got in the 5th round.
This is the deepest draft we've ever had.
Yeah.
All right. So, James, next to you for 2.
Well, once again, you guys are letting things slip to me, and probably leading to me to get some votes quickly here. I'm going to pick a TV show, and I'm going to pick the one that I remember watching at about 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. It's one of our favorite actors of all time, and I'm going to have to pick Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Wow. Really? That's the one you're.
Really?
No.
Really?
You know what? Really good
Explain
show.
yourself.
Yeah, let him talk it out.
What do you mean? It was one of the longest running shows in the 90s. It produced one of the best actors of our generation, who is iconic and has had a movie
Carlton?
career that has spun off of this. It is one of the greatest TV shows of all time, and it hit all on it hit all the heartstrings. I mean, he's a troubled boy, who may not have had a father around, and he kind of stumbled upon some riches. Not me. That's
The
not.
sympathy vote makes me sick. Makes me sick to my stomach.
What do you mean? What's one of the best episodes is when, what is it? His
Oh,
dad
fuck.
doesn't show
Don't do
up.
it. Don't
Yes,
do it.
we
Don't
know.
do it.
Don't do it.
We don't talk.
So sad.
Okay.
You don't want me. Why did he want me,
I
man?
didn't want
Do you
me.
want to start on this, or do you want me to? Because I think James is right that it's an incredible and iconic show, but we appreciate that show now with age and wisdom. It's not a show made for children for 13 and under. We may have watched it in that context, but I don't think at the time We laughed because Carlton did a funny dance and the laugh track was interesting and Will would shrug his shoulders, but we didn't understand. It wasn't really like a kid show. I think you're right. I don't think it's right for this draft, but the show, I love it. I love it.
I will say, same as Pogs, love the pick, stinks as a first rounder.
Nope. No, it
That's
doesn't.
tough, because there are other TV shows that if we're talking true childhood,
I'm not going to
win.
listen to the guys who always finish 4th and 3rd in the draft.
It's
Okay, well,
it's
listen to
what
the
you
guy.
did, James.
Listen to the guy who finishes
It's what you
first.
did. Yes, it is.
Okay.
I hate to do this, but I agree with Jordan. I think it's a show that as we got older, we forgot that we didn't really watch as kids.
No, you're wrong.
But anyways, hey, I think we're all on board. So sorry, James, shitty pick. Ha ha. All right, James, your second pick in a row here. Second round, kick it off.
I don't even want to do the draft anymore. You guys are really just negative.
Oh, that's classic James, right? Oh, I feel like it's not going well. I'm gonna quit.
Let me pull up quickly here. Since I know you're not going to touch my actress later, I will.
Whoa, that's
I'm going to go
phrasing.
or crush. Sorry, I'm going to go with toy, and it's an iconic toy. It may not be something that we would have used or played with, but it was something that was always around, and I remember my school particularly was banning it from being in possession of kids while at school, and kids were getting them confiscated all the time because they were so crazy and so distracting. It's going to be the Tamagotchi.
Oh, good pick. Yep.
Man, we've had some swerves. That's another one where I thought he was going to say something else.
Hey,
and he
Jordan,
said,
Jordan,
"Oh,
hey, Jordan, we got a shot this week, buddy.
Yeah, I feel really good about this.
No, you don't.
Really
This is
good.
this is a deep draft. But James, talk about Tamagotchi, because I feel like that's a better pick than I think people are going to give it credit for.
It's iconic. It is one of the biggest toys of the 90s. It was a cult following. It was just crazy to be around when you think about it now, and how the schools, the biggest thing that I remember is the schools themselves did everything they could to ban these things because they were so distracting. It's like they thought this was the reading of the devil's Bible or something like that. Like they just didn't want kids to have them. And I remember seeing kids all the time being distracted by the fact that, their Tamagotchi just took a shit and they have to go clean up the Tamagotchi shit, or else that thing's going to beep in their pocket for the next 4 hours. And it was insane, but everybody had one. I had to get one at some point. And and did I like it? No, I was taking care of a virtual child, and that sucks. I don't want to do that. But yeah, these things were wild.
See, you just described two things that said "hold my beer." So number one, smartphones came out and they're like, "Hold my beer," because you think those are distracting. Here's a smartphone, and then fidget spinners came out and they're like, "No, hold my beer."
These don't even really do anything, and they're going to distract you more than a Tamagotchi.
They're going to distract you more than a smartphone. A fucking fidget spinner.
I know. It always amazed me how comfortable those. When did a child have to deal with the death of something in the past, and then Tamagotchis came out and oh, my Tamagotchi died. I'll just start a new one. It was just wild. It was, maybe that was the beginning of respawning. Was your Tamagotchi? Was that the beginning of respawn? I don't know. But that's another pick that I think is not even a second rounder. But James, I get what you're saying. For you you talked about your pick with such disdain. You were like, oh, I hated my pick. But you can think of a toy that you liked that you thought would be as iconic as a Tamagotchi.
Well, we said no video games before the pod, so.
I mean, what was your favorite toy? Was it a stick? Was it a ball? Duct tape as a ball? What did you use growing up?
Well, in the North End, we just those World Vision commercials or ads that you would see. We just knocked a tire down the road with a stick the whole time, and that was entertaining to us. So,
a wheel and a stick.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, you're up for your second round pick.
So I've come to the full-on conclusion that I'm just gonna pick. This is the draft where you pick stuff you like.
Yeah.
And if other people don't like,
James hated his Tamagotchi.
you're literally picking stuff and hoping other people are like, oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
like I have no feel for this draft. I've had a feel for all the other ones. This one I have no feel for. So I'm gonna go TV show. I'm gonna pick my absolute favorite after school show. Me and Pat sat there. We watched it over and over and over again. I've watched it again as an adult, and I still think it holds up. Recess, Disney's Recess. I
What
think
is
that's
happening in this draft right now? What is happening?
Not on my board again. Not on my board again.
Pat. You cannot deny that was a great show.
It was a great show, but you don't pick it.
It was
So-
during my childhood, 97 to 06.
Look, here's the deal. If either one of you clowns, James or Matt, win this draft, the votes mean nothing.
Yeah, no, I don't know how it works. Like, because we're gonna say stuff, guys, and I don't want you to come back at us because we say it, but like, guys, there are other things that
There's another one I struggled between, but I feel like this was like I remember coming home from school, grade 4 to grade 6, and that's the show we watched.
I feel like you guys are in a different headspace, and you think you got a leg up right now, but we are 4 different age groups. We are 4 different age groups.
not really.
Matt's older than me. I'm older than Pat.
Yeah,
By
but
a
Pat's
year.
older than you.
By a
No,
year, you're
we're
older
all
than me.
within 4 years. It's a 4-year difference top to bottom. It's
4
not
year-
that big a difference.
Okay, as someone who teaches young children,
4 years is a long time.
4 years is a huge gap.
Yeah.
You're talking a 5-year-old to a 9-year-old, that's a huge gap.
Yes, but we're talking like when you were 17 and I was 13, or when you were 15 and I was 11. There's an understanding of what's like. There's the same TV
Yeah.
shows. It's not like now.
When
where
you were
the
11,
internet,
you're watching
know,
Disney Channel, and when I was
No.
15, I was watching something completely
Disney
different.
Channel didn't even exist.
Don't yell at me, all right?
Family channel. He means family channel.
I know. Well, James didn't have that channel because he was still trying to make the fucking antenna work on top of his little tube box shit.
Are you
Don't knock
suggesting that
CBC.
James was financially disadvantaged?
No, I'm suggesting that they made smart television choices.
Okay, good save.
Frugal, thrifty, thrifty.
All right. So Jordan, we're talking a big game here. So you're up next. What's your next pick?
This
Okay.
better be a banger.
In my whole draft, aside from Backstreet Boys, Kelly Kapowski was the only other thing on my board for all the picks so far. So now I'm trying to go through and figure out like what isn't going to be there down the road. And that's where this gets tough. So I think for my crush, I'm going to take, because I think this is my thinnest category, because I was trying to think of like, who did I actually have a crush on? Not like who was hot as a kid. I'm going to take Topanga. That is,
I'm going to write down horse face. That's what I'm going to
Whoa! Whoa!
How do you
That's a
spell
salt.
Topanga?
Topenga.
HORSE.
Wow!
I'm sorry, I didn't say Sarah Jessica Parker. I said Topanga.
Wow, you
Wow.
guys!
Ricochet shots now.
That's good.
So Topanga's just like an all-time, there's other picks. And I think for me, like, I just remember like watching that show. Now, let's be honest. My real crush was on Mr. Feeney, just because what a great role model. But this isn't exactly the fit. So Topanga, I just, a wonderful, here's what James would say. If James was picking, he'd go, great personality. Because apparently he can't see beyond the beauty. Like, he can't see beyond that. But what I could see was both inside and out. Topanga was a true great girlfriend and a true great character on that show. And it just
She
made
was
you
so
realize,
indecisive.
it made you realize
Thank
that
you.
the girl next door could be attainable for an average Joe like me. And so
Not attainable. It took him forever. It took him the whole fucking series.
for that Topanga, well, that's just good narrative, James. It's not good if he gets him in series 1. For that Topanga, I thank you.
All right. I have no problem with that pick. That was my second on the board. if I
Draft
didn't
is
get
off the
Kelly
rails.
Kapowski. All right. So Pat gets double picks. His second round pick, Power Rangers. 100% Power Rangers.
As what?
As a TV show.
Because that kills it as a toy. Just so we're aware. Okay. At
So Power Rangers,
least it was on my board.
so many days of like pretending to be a Power Ranger. You had your sword. You called your bot out. You played make believe as a Power Ranger all the time. Everybody had their favorite Power Ranger. If you didn't like the Green Ranger, you're a sick person. Green turned to white Power
Big
Ranger,
red
and they was
guy.
great. See, but that's a leader. It really shows your personality, right? Like, so I was always a big Tommy fan.
Pat, here's why I don't love your Power Rangers pick. As a child, Power Rangers came out and it was violent, and parents didn't want their kids playing fucking Power Rangers. And
That's what you're going with, Terry.
we went to daycare. Were we allowed at our babysitter to play Power Rangers?
Doesn't matter. I still watched it at home.
Yeah, we still watched it.
I had the
But if you
morphin.
can't
What do
play
they call the morphin thing where you hold it out and they would morph?
Were they worried
that-
that you were going to turn into robots by combining together and beating the shit out of a lizard?
I don't know why
what
they
were
didn't let us
people
play it.
concerned about?
I'm not saying it was a smart move not to let us play it, Jordan.
It's like letting your kids watch wrestling. Like you know, why would you do that?
Yeah. Meanwhile, our babysitter let us watch wrestling
I know
Tuesday mornings.
there is so many great like things growing up that were contradictions of.
And this was like prime
sense.
Attitude Era, like
All right, so
the young
Power
giving
Rangers.
birth to a hand in front of a bunch of 5-year-olds.
Brad, it was on my board. I think it's a little high, but that's a good pick.
I personally, everybody seems to be taking stuff they love. I love Power Rangers. Matt can attest to this. I just lived and breathed Power Rangers when it was the first like 2 seasons. After that, kind of went off the rails a little bit. Got a little weird. They had a couple good movies, and then they
The White
rebooted.
Ranger.
I feel like Tommy needed to get another job because he just kept coming back for later seasons. You're like, dude, you're 30. Quit being a Power Ranger.
That's a
Like-
tap-in paycheck, baby. How dare you?
So the next one, I'm gonna pick a candy actually.
Oh,
Uh,
first candy.
Ooh, first candy.
Because what do kids want more than anything? Sugar, and more sugar. Put it on the board. I'm picking Fun Dip.
Fuck. Fuck.
It is a sugar stick, which you dip into, possibly, depending on the pack that you got, 3 different colored sugars that had a little bit of flavor in it, but it was basically like, hey, let's get a big old sugar rush followed by a sugar crash. And always got them when you went to the canteen when you watched your brother play hockey. Mom and dad give you $1, go get a Fun Dip, and you'd be flying for at least an hour.
Back in the late 90s, you can get 2 fun dips for $1. Let's get real here.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you caught that slip? Okay.
whoa.
Laugh.
Fun Dip is a powerhouse candy when you're younger because all you wanted was sugar, and that's exactly what it gave you as advertised.
Can I admit something on this podcast?
What's that?
I used to buy Fun Dips and throw out the sugar to just eat the stick by itself.
Oof.
Who hasn't done that?
Oh, really? Oh,
I've
I've
heard
done
the
that.
opposite. I've heard the opposite.
Yeah.
oh God! I thought I was going to
Finger.
get put in as a
Lick your
cereal.
finger, put it in the sugar, and just eat the sugar that way.
Oh wow! Okay, good.
I feel like James is a finger in the sugar kind of guy.
No, I like the stick. I like the stick. It was a vehicle to deliver the sugar to me.
Yes, that's true. All right, so yeah, Power Rangers and Fun Dip, Runner. I think that's a pretty strong looking draft already. So we'll throw it to Jordan for his 3rd round pick.
Okay, so I think all 3 categories I have remaining, candy, TV show, and toys, have tons of depth. So I'm gonna go toy here. I'm gonna go toy here just because I think there's a lot of depth elsewhere, and I think my show and my candy will come back to me that I really want. I'm gonna take. This is tough. I'm going to take something I played with a shitload as a kid. I'm going to take Lego. I think that's a perfect 3rd round pick. I don't think Legos are the best thing ever, but I think that there's something that lets your imagination really run wild. I think it covers a lot of ground as well. And I think everyone in their life at some point has made a Lego something. So I'm going to take Lego in the 3rd round. I think it's just like a quintessential childhood thing.
I think Lego might be the most boring of all the toys.
Whoa.
I was just gonna say your picks. This is why you don't win, Jordan. You don't move the meter with your picks.
It's very safe. It's a very safe pick.
Okay, time out. You're saying, so last week, just as a refresher, you're saying mentioning soca reggae in Winnipeg as a fourth rounder didn't move the needle, and then mentioning summer, like I literally sabotage myself every week.
So you got to understand your audience. Got to understand your audience.
Yes, Lego, James. If you're a fan of Star Wars, you had Lego. If you're a fan of Batman, you had a Lego. If you're a fan of name it, you got a Lego. I, for example, made a Lego model. I made a Lego model of an FA-18 Super Hornet as a child because I loved airplanes. And no, sorry, James, let me clarify. It was an FA-18A Super Hornet as a child. So I love Legos, and you had a Lego no matter what you liked as a kid. And that's what I appreciate about Lego because they sold it to everybody. And doubled as a booby trap because if you stepped on one, you die.
To Matt.
I like the Lego pick because I was a big Lego kid. The only thing is, here's my thing with Lego. If you say Lego, I could not guess what era you were born in. You know what I mean?
Very generic. It's very generic.
It's a generic toy pick. There isn't, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, Jordan. I'm just not saying it's not a your childhood. It's a general childhood.
My childhood was you get multiple types of Lego and then you start mixing and matching them together. That's why I'm not taking specific Legos because if you pick one Lego, the true joy of Lego was getting like 5 different Legos and making like a Super Hornet Batmobile that had like the Batmobile wings on a Super Hornet. Okay, so that's
the minute I learned how to build engines, things that look like engines with Lego, I was stoked because I had enough pieces.
The Lego cars, like when you could wind them up, or even when they get to RC cars when you're older. I'm
just saying it's not distinctive. That's my knock on it.
I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of like socials, picking that in a draft. It all kind of like it's not.
No, you say social, you know Manitoba, so you can continue to try to sabotage that pick. But the bottom line is,
all right, Matt. I'm going to put an end to this. Matt, your 3rd round pick.
My 3rd round pick. So I'm panicking a little bit about the candy because Pat wanted to grab Fun Dip. I thought I could grab that later. I'm going to go with something that is, I think, kind of Manitoba. I'm going to take Jumbo Freezies. And everybody's looking at me like I'm an idiot. And that's okay.
What about that is Manitoba specific?
Yeah, I'm more concerned about that.
When I used to go to provincial baseball tournaments, it was super fucking warm, and I went to 3 different cities or towns in Manitoba. If you brought back a foul ball to the guy who was keeping score, the official scorekeeper, he would give you a quarter, and you could go and buy a Jumbo Freezy.
That didn't happen anywhere else in the country ever.
No, honestly, I'm from Toronto, and I don't know. Can you explain to me what a Jumbo Freezy is? Because I've never seen one before.
I'm not saying the Jumbo Freezy itself. I'm saying my memories of a Jumbo Freezy are very Manitoba.
Of course it is. You live here.
I think this is great. I think Matt's sabotaging himself so we can just see if someone else can win. Because Jumbo Freezies is a Manitoba thing. Come on.
But Jumbo Freezies are a great childhood candy.
Can I tell you how not Manitoba it is? Matt, are you thinking of Mr. Freeze or Kisco or both? Perhaps? Mr. Freeze, do you know Kisco?
No.
Like Kisco Freezies? Have you ever heard of that company before as well?
No.
So Kisco bought Mr. Freeze not too long ago. Why that matters? Because it was started in Jamaica by an uncle of mine. So that's how not Manitoban it is. The literal base concept of a Freezy, which is shared by Kisco and Mr. Freeze, was originated in the Caribbean. That's how not Manitoban it is.
But here's how Manitoban it is, and here's how childhood it is that...
No, we have to stop. We have to stop this.
No, fuck it. You know what? I picked Jumbo Freezies because Jumbo Freezies are a childhood favorite of mine, and nobody's going to take that away from me. And when I was a kid in the dead of summer, you give me one of those big-ass Freezies, and you're putting it on your head, and you're sucking the juice.
Yeah, the kids in Florida were just drinking cold water because Jumbo Freezies didn't exist.
I'm not saying nobody else had them, Jordan. I'm not saying nobody else had them.
All right. So
I hope to fuck you guys do better this week Because if you don't, I'm taking this audio, I'm putting on Instagram, and I am putting 2 middle fingers up and being like, fuck you guys.
Okay, well, let's go to James for a double pick.
All right. Well, all right. I got another 2 picks here. It seems like neither of us like any of our picks, and now I'm all in my feels about what I'm doing here. Well, and so I think I'm gonna take a pick that I think might strike Jordan here. In terms of candy, I know Fun Dip is off the board. That's fine. Jumbo Freezies, whatever.
James is so nice. Like James,
They're delicious.
how come
Yeah,
James
they
doesn't
are
rip
delicious.
apart
I'm not
Matt's
gonna
picks?
hate on that. I'm not gonna hate.
All right, let's let James. What's your pick?
I'm gonna go with a candy here, and I'm gonna take Warheads.
Hmm.
Warheads. I remember the packaging. I remember everything about it, and I think part of this whole draft is the cell drop that we're gonna have to do with our picks, because everything is so personal, and we all grew up in different friend circles. But I think Warheads is kind of unanimous amongst everybody in the 90s. Fun Dip for sure. I would say that's number 1 on the draft board in terms of 90s candy. But I'm gonna take Warheads, and I'm happy with that pick, and I'm gonna sell myself on that pick, just because, yeah, the marketing that was around them, there wasn't too much, but I remember the packaging, and I remember everybody was like, "We got to go try Warheads." Apparently, it makes kids vomit, and no, nobody ever vomited off of these candies.
They were really
But-
sour though.
So
But they
James,
were
it sounds
really
like
sour.
you didn't really like them.
I love Warheads. I love sour. I love spicy.
Okay,
I love
just
sour.
clarify.
I love all that kind of stuff. If you give me sour gummies, you can give me sour whatever. I will eat that up. Lemonade, one of my favorite drinks of all time. Sour. But
Lemonade's
Yeah.
bangering.
what's that?
Lemonade's so good.
Well, so good, so good. But yeah, I'm gonna take Warheads as my candy.
Okay, all right. I'm not gonna hate on it. Warheads were good, and you always take a challenge of how many warheads you could put in your mouth before it was
I would-
too sour.
Just gonna say.
Yeah.
The Warhead Challenge. Big Warhead Challenge fan.
Yeah.
Not on my board.
No,
I mean,
really?
it wasn't on my board either, but
I feel like candy is very like what
Yeah,
was
there's a
your
lot.
jam? What
There's
was
a
your jam
lot.
kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like I had a list of 10 candies if I didn't get Fun Dip.
Oh, yeah.
So I was
Fair
great.
enough.
All right,
Fair enough.
James, back to you for another one.
All right, for my 4th pick, I'm gonna go with my crush here, and you know what? I recently, hopefully Marissa doesn't listen this far into the podcast, but I recently started following her again on Instagram here. I didn't know she had it. I thought she was too old for it, but shockingly, still looks the same. It still looks just as great as ever. My favorite crush from the 90s, Carmen Electra.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
That's like later on in your childhood, right? Like when you're
Oh,
like
that's a
in middle
mature
s-
woman.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a woman. Like that's me watching Baywatch on TBS. After
Great
school.
program. Great
Oh,
program.
great program. Watching Baywatch and watching Carmen Electra out there. Iconic. Dated Dennis Rodman in the 90s.
So
Then moved on to what's his face? I can't
Dave
remember.
Navarro.
Dave Navarro, right?
What a
I mean,
pull. What a pull by me.
I thought about picking first round the entire cast of Baywatch.
Oh, that
Male,
would've been-
female, didn't matter.
including the Haas.
Oh yeah.
Off.
Male, female
Haas.
didn't matter.
My
Just
bad.
picking the
Haas.
whole cast
and
as my crush.
you know what? I was inspired. You know what? I came to a moment this morning. I was watching F1, and that stupid online gambling commercial with the Hoff came on, and I was like, Carmen Electra's my pick. That's
Wheels.
it. Yeah,
Wheels.
wheels keep turning.
Yeah. We might get
turning.
roasted for not having another Baywatch member somewhere
I think
on here.
I'll say it. That one is overrated.
You're overrated.
No, not Carmen Electra, the other
Oh.
Baywatch pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think she's
Right.
overrated.
Sunny was great.
No, we can't. Okay,
Anyways,
Matt.
but yeah, that's my pick.
All right, Matt, to you for your 4th round pick.
Now I'm looking at the board. I'm like,
you're already
I'm not gonna
fucked. You might as well just do whatever.
I'm not gonna pick a crush because I can pick a crush last because you guys all picked crushes. I'm gonna go to music. I think you're gonna veto it, and that's okay. I'm still gonna try. I want to pick Big Shiny Tunes.
No, that's not a pick.
No, absolutely not. Veto.
Veto. That's two
Jordan,
vetoes
you
right
veto?
there.
Two
Yeah,
vetoes
I
your-
veto. Official veto.
Yeah,
James,
it's not.
what about
it's
us
not
saying
artists.
it has to be bands? It has you thinking exactly.
Because Big Shiny Tunes is iconic '90s.
Yeah, but it's not a band.
music.
It's not a band.
I agree. That's why I will default to.
So I guess Jock Jams is off.
That's
Yeah,
off
but
too.
so was Wow Music. Or
Like
whatever the hell it
now,
was.
now.
Sorry. Wow was the
now.
Christian version.
God
Now,
Sorry to
damn
hear
it.
that.
words of
Ah.
worship.
Okay.
This is the part where Matt blows his draft and takes 45 minutes because this is what I remember. Because now Matt takes forever to pick. He
I
talks.
thought
1,000
Big
miles
Shiny
between the
Tunes was a
sentences.
really creative pick. I thought I could get away with it, and
Just
No.
pick someone.
Holy shit! I'm gonna have to cut all the audio together.
no, you're not gonna have to
Squeeze
cut
his
shit
gaps.
because this is interesting dialogue, and I'm gonna pick, Nirvana because they're just it's Nirvana,
Yeah, that's fine.
and I believe 10 years old when I was like, Mom and Dad, I want to go buy the Nirvana CD, and they're like, which one? I was like, the one with the little boy on it who's naked. And my
It's a
mom was like,
classic album. Classic album.
and my mom was like, I don't know if you should buy it. I'm like, no. Like all my friends have it. It's fine. I said, they just put tape over the little boy's penis when they bring it to school for CD parties.
Oh,
And
those
she's
are the
like-
best CD parties.
And she was like, okay, cool. So like she brought me, I didn't know the name of the album. I just know it had a song called Entertain Us on it, but it wasn't called Entertain Us.
No.
So I had to pick up every Nirvana CD I could find, and I was like, I think this is the one because it has the boy with the penis on it. And Nevermind absolutely changed my life. I still listen to it probably once a week. Like I listen to the entire album probably once every 2 weeks. I listen to the
That's
entire
not even. That's not even the first weird kid album I think of. I think of Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Covered Starfish.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Whoa, excuse me. I apologize. If
You know he picks though, Jordan.
oh no,
Matt,
I'm sorry. If Limp Bizkit is going to get picked in this before many others, then color me a criminal. Excusez-moi.
Matt, that is your strongest pick
Who
so
would pick
far.
Limp Bizkit?
I don't know. Pogs is a good pick.
Yeah, in the 5th round. But anyways, Jordan, to you for your 4th round pick.
All right, so I'm left with a candy and a TV show.
Still super pissed. I couldn't pick Big Shiny Tunes.
So this is so tough because there's like 4 TV shows that I want to pick between, and I'm trying to pick like, okay, I'm gonna take this pick one because it is the TV show I watch the most and it influenced the most things. Because of this TV show, I'm actually going to be able to wipe out a potential toy pick as well because this TV show dominated the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm going to take Pokemon.
Good
I'm going to
pick.
take Pokemon in the 4th
Yeah.
round. I was terrified someone was going to take Pokemon cards as a toy and fuck me over here. In fact, now that I think about it, I almost wish I took Pokemon cards as my toy and chose a different show because I feel like I would have got the double whammy. But I'm going to take Pokemon because that show is, I mean, the game, I had a Game Boy. Oh, fuck, maybe that was, sorry, didn't mean to ruin
No,
that.
we can't
That was
pick
a toy.
video games.
Oh, right. So Game Boy, Pokemon Yellow, I've played so many times, I can't even
Oh,
tell you.
so good.
My
I feel
record
like-
for beating Blue, 16 hours.
Jesus. You know what? I gotta tell you this. I only acknowledge the first 151. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
All the other Pokemon after that don't exist. I will die on that hill. I only acknowledge,
That's a slow
and I
clap, ladies
include
and gentlemen.
Mew. I include Mew as number 151.
Yeah.
And that's where I stop. So that's going to be my pick. I can't believe I'm getting my number 1 overall TV show in the 4th round, but I am excited to say that I am.
I'll stand with you with the 151. I have no shame. I have Pokemon Sword on my Nintendo Switch. The
Oh,
new
that's awesome.
Pokemon.
Is it
suck.
good?
They
No,
suck
well,
bad.
they're
They
good.
suck so much.
It's good. It's a better version of Pokemon video games. But the Pokemon that are in Sword, they're soft, like baby shit soft, little fluffy animals. They're not cool. There's no Charizards anymore.
No,
Like, it's
there's
just-
no hard. There's no like
Charizard was a
hardo
mean. Mewtwo was a mean looking Pokemon.
The original Pokemon movie, like he was savage,
Terrifying.
terrifying.
There was a
Like,
Pokemon with literal size
Yeah,
on
Scyther.
his arms.
Scyther, man.
Scyther.
He literally had it looked like something out of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Pokemon in the fourth round is banana land for me. And I took a risk thinking, but yeah, there it is. So I'm psyched with that. I can't wait for my final pick. So I believe it's back to Pat for his
Yeah.
last two picks.
So my last two, I'm gonna pick a toy next. I cannot believe that Matt didn't pick it. I'm shocked he didn't. I don't think it'll play as well, but I think in our house they were everywhere because Matt had a bunch of them and I played with them. Great make believe toy. There
I'm gonna
was
tell you why
endless
they're not good.
possibilities. I'm gonna take GI Joes.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why they're not good. You defend your pick, and then I'm gonna tell you why they're
Well,
not
it's
good.
just what it is. It's just I felt like as a kid you want your imagination to run wild, and I felt like with the GI Joe base that Matt had that I always used to play with, there was so many things you could do in your imagination. I think as a late round pick, it's something that spoke to me as a kid. Again, if Jordan wouldn't have taken Pokemon, I would have taken Pokemon cards. So I think he kind of fucked me on that. But GI Joe was higher on my list. I really liked them. I was gonna take a different thing, but Lego was already taken. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with GI Joe's. Probably not my best pick, but I think a very solid pick. It's not gonna move the needle, but it's not gonna hurt my draft. So Matt, why don't you like that pick?
I don't like that pick because again, it's not generational. You say GI Joe, and you're not thinking the GI Joes that we had, the fully articulate, smaller versions. You're thinking the Barbie doll size
Yeah.
GI Joe.
Like the collectible version.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
the I don't even know what you call them. The original GI Joe. I don't know what you call them, but that's what. Now you say that, and that's. Although I had some badass GI Joes.
You did, and that's why I pick them.
Ninja Star, all-time GI Joe. If you know who Ninja Star is, he was like the coolest version is Snake Eyes, but then after Snake Eyes, it's Ninja Star. So
Yeah, and I just think people will see GI Joes on the graphic and be like, "Yeah, GI Joes are sick," but it's low enough on my list where it's not a big deal. And the last pick, guilty pleasure. It's shameful that I'm picking them. Really, everyone had their favorite, the Spice Girls.
as your
That's
On my board.
as my band.
as your band, yeah.
They were straight fire they had a very short span when they were huge. I think it was like 3-4 years. They had banger after banger. You're talking social songs. You go out there. It's just, If You Want to Be My Lover comes on, the whole crowd's out there and they're singing every song, every
It's actually
second
called
of that thing.
Wannabe, but
Whatever you want.
I mean, if you're gonna
Just pandering
fucking
right now.
Anyways, but then, hey, they also had a movie. Did the
they
Backstreet Boys have
did,
a
it
movie?
was so bad.
It was so great though. It was so bad. It was great. You put that on now and you're like, holy shit, how was this cool? And it was fucking cool back in the day.
And you say, did the Backstreet Boys have a movie? Yeah, they released concerts that outsold Spice World.
Yeah, but I think so many people are gonna see Spice Girls and just,
Oh no, I'm not shitting on the Spice Girls. Baby Spice, I am the only one that can take a crush. Baby Spice could be my crush. She is not going to be my crush, but she could be my crush.
Posh.
Posh
Oh,
all day.
posh, yeah.
All right, so I'm done, and I really like my board. So we'll go to Jordan for his fifth pick.
All right, so I'm finishing up with the candy. You know what? I'm on the goal line here. I'm ecstatic with my board.
You're in the red zone now. Lindsay, you're on the goal.
I got a number. Here's the problem, though. I can't. There's other candies that I probably should take that everyone will love, but I need to stay true to Jordan's number one all-time favorite childhood candy. I don't even know if it's necessarily a candy, but it is definitely my childhood. I'm going to take a Dunkaroos as my fifth round pick. There's other stuff out there I'm supposed to take. I'm sure people, I think everyone's first thought is like a convenience store wall, but there was nothing more Jordan's candy childhood than kangaroo or Dunkaroos,
especially
the version with the sprinkles in it. That was the shit.
You would eat
the
cookies first, and then you would stick your finger in it and just eat.
So Pat, what did you just say? You would eat the what?
The cookies first.
Right. So is that a candy or a cookie?
Oh boy.
Oh, that's
I
a
mean,
tough
if you
one.
guys want to veto, there's other stuff I will take, but I have to. It's like
I'm not gonna lie, Jordan. You took that, and I'm like, fuck. That's a
That's a good
really,
pick.
I
I
She'll
said
sing.
it. You could roll the recording back, and I also said, "Oh, that's a good pick."
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking about it, that's a cookie.
But you know what? I think I'm gonna let it play.
The
Yeah, people will
frosting
see it,
is definitely.
And they will be like,
candy.
"That's not a candy. Can't
Yep.
win." Boom.
Nope.
I'm okay with
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna let it play too. And
I mean,
I
what
hope our
was it-
listeners can see through.
If you're if you could trade for a Dunkaroo at lunchtime,
all
were you
day.
trading for a Dunkaroo?
100%.
All day.
100%. Yeah. All right, Matt.
James is
You're-
thinking about it. I don't know if James is trading for a Dunkaroo.
And I'll tell you guys right now, Pokemon was number one on my board, Dunkaroo was one on my board, Backstreet Boys was one on my board, and Lego was all one on my board. So, I mean, that's.
I think you overvalued Lego, but the
I
other
think so.
three, I can respect.
All right, Matt. Your fifth pick. You need your crush here.
I need my crush. There's a lot.
Not the wrestler. Not the wrestler either.
He was awesome though. Like, let's get real here. There's a lot that I could go to. I think I have to do this. I saw the movie and it was honestly the first. Like, I went back and I thought about it and I was like, that's the first time I like saw a woman and was like, whoa,
Okay.
wow, that is like, when everybody, all young boys, they kind of have that time where they're like, oh yeah, I like that. And it might be the first time they see a woman, the first time they see a man, like, it doesn't matter, but they have that spot where they understand, wow, I'm attracted to that. That is what I like. Cameron Diaz in The Mask. I am taking, I don't know what her name was in The Mask. I don't care what her name was in The Mask, but I'm taking Cameron Diaz because of The Mask.
And that I will find a picture of her from The Mask for the graphic. I respect
Thank you
that pick.
very much.
Fantastic pick.
Because that movie is amazing. And that was honestly, like, you didn't know who she was at the time. You watch it now and you're like, Cameron Diaz.
What was her first
A
role?
young Cameron Diaz. It was like our first major role.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that when it came out, The Mask when it came out, and being like, oh boy, when she walks out in that red dress,
Yeah.
So,
please.
fun fact about Cameron Diaz, and this spins to the Mortal Kombat release last week. In the original Mortal Kombat movie, she was supposed to be Sonya,
That'd have been sick.
Wow.
but she hurt her wrist training for the movie, and that's why they went to the Billy Madison girl.
Yeah.
She was good too.
Oh,
What's
Yeah,
her name?
I don't know.
Veronica Vaughn.
hot.
Veronica Vaughn. All right.
It's funny how
James.
like you remember some characters. Like, I remember Veronica Vaughn. Could not tell you the actress's name.
No.
Could not tell you Cameron Diaz's name in The Mask, but I know it's Cameron Diaz.
Fair enough.
All right, James, your last pick of the draft. It's Mr. Irrelevant. The last
Yeah,
pick of the
and you know what? And I'm going to keep true to that, and I'm going to vote with I'm going to pick with my heart here. My favorite '90s music artist, and the only person that I went to a concert for, and was the sole person standing in the audience when he opened for Bon Jovi at the Winnipeg Stadium. I'm going to pick Kid Rock.
Yes.
I love Kid Rock.
the
American
ball.
Badass. Oh, he is so good. He's dirty, he's grimy, and I could see Jordan face palming it right now. I don't give a fuck. And that's the same mentality that Kid Rock would have right now. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. He's so good. It just banger after banger. Ba Wada Ba, that's the original I want to slam my head through the cement wall football song. You can't tell me, Jordan, at any point during your football life, you didn't listen to Ba Wada Ba before the fucking game. All right? That's how passionate I am about this.
No, we were big Bone Crushers. What's the name of the song?
I don't know.
Oh, I Never Scared by Bone Crusher. That was more our jam.
Ugh,
Never heard of that
too young.
song.
Too young. Too young.
So-
doesn't appreciate it.
To James, I love the pick, and there are two types of people. There are people who admit they're Kid Rock fans, and people who pretend they don't like Kid Rock. But everybody likes Kid Rock.
Yeah, yeah. There's a video from last summer of me in my backyard playing American Badass and singing word for word the entire song at about midnight, just around the bonfire, and I'm blaring it on the speaker. I don't
Sure,
care.
you were completely sober.
Yeah, sober, 100% responsible adult. It wasn't a work
I mean,
night.
you're at home. You could have a few adult beverages
Well, maybe, responsibly.
All right,
responsibly.
so that puts the end to our draft. Before everybody gets one honorable mention after I recap. So pick that out.
Can I have
Gotta be your
two?
best one.
Can I have two?
Yep, just one.
I'm gonna
Okay.
say two.
All right. So Pat had the first overall pick. He picked Kelly Kapowski, Power Rangers as his TV show, Fun Dip, G.I. Joes, and the Spice Girls. Jordan came in second. He
Yeah,
had the
that's a good
Backstreet
draft.
Boys,
No,
Topanga.
I picked second. I didn't come in second.
Oh, sorry. Pick second.
Probably didn't. Come in
Backstreet
second
Boys,
either.
Topanga, Lego, Pokemon, and as his TV show, and Dunkaroos as his candy, air quotes. Matt had Pogs, Recess as his TV show, the very Manitoban Jumbo Freezies as his candy, Nirvana and Cameron Diaz from The Mask, very specific. And James had the last pick. He had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Tamagotchi, Warheads, Carmen Electra, and Kid Rock. I will start the honorable mentions. One honorable mention I was going to pick, if I thought the draft was going to go a different way, TV show, Mr. Dress Up. Just saying.
That's that's like early childhood.
Yeah. So, Jordan, your honorable mention?
Okay, you don't get to tell me what to do. So here's some honorable mentions. Okay, bands. Here's two that no one had on their list. Prozac was for sure
Oh,
I had them on my list. Had
and
them on my
Eiffel
list.
65 was for sure on my list. That's if
I didn't have them on my list, but I
No.
chose not to put them on
two
my list.
TV shows that should have been picked but weren't, and that's everyone's fault. Hey Arnold and Rugrats.
Rugrats.
No clue why that was there. Candy I'll leave for someone else. Random crush I had, Jordana Brewster, who's like Vin Diesel's sister in Fast and
Oh,
Furious 1.
Crush Aunt Becky from Full House. Just saying.
What?
Pat. Betty White. from
I'm
Golden
into it.
Girls.
I'm into it.
All right, Matt.
And
your
Joe, I
honorable
just want
mention?
one toy.
Oh.
I just want one toy. I did have Tickle Me Elmo on my board. Because
Yeah. I was
Tickle
thinking-
Me Elmo.
Furby.
I
No,
had
Tickle
Furby
Me
on there, too.
Elmo.
Yeah.
Tickle Me Elmo was not only hilarious, but also a great wrestling toy if your parents wouldn't let you buy the wrestling toy. That's what Tickle Me Elmo was for me.
Matt, your honorable mention?
I had excuse me. I had under music. I had Hootie and the Blowfish.
Fantastic. Oh,
I wish you would have picked that.
I wore that tape out in like my 8 years old to 10 years old. My parents had it. I stole it and I played the crap out of it in my room. And I just need to say, she deserves some love. Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Ranger from
Pink
Power
Ranger.
Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure she was every boy around our age's first crush.
All right, James, your honorable mentions?
I'll try to keep it quick because I can see the producer in the background giving me the wrap it up sign. I'm going to go TV show Home Improvement. I mean, that's a classic.
Good show.
Watch it now. Not funny at all.
What? You do that. That's funny. But my other crush that I had, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh.
I don't think so, Tim, was a line I used for maybe a year straight when I was younger.
It's a good one.
Hey, can I just ask? Natalie Portman. Anybody?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Queen
Okay.
Amidala?
Yeah, Queen
Yeah,
Amidala. Yeah, okay.
We were too old, weren't we? Like, didn't that come out?
Yeah,
No,
no.
that came out like 2000.
I was in grade 7, grade 8 when
Yeah.
Star Wars Phantom Menace
Yeah.
came out.
Okay,
All right.
I just want to make sure I wasn't weird.
Confidence levels at an all-time high, I gotta say.
All right, guys. So, a great first episode of Flight and a Pint Tuesdays. We'll be back on Thursday for Beer Review Thursday. So enjoy that, and remember to drink local, support local, and you'll hear from us on Thursday on Bros Bumps.